What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com, The Hype, episode 282. Shohei Ohtani sets the sport world on fire. We're going to talk about his cards. We've got Guess That Price that makes a return. C-Rad here is going to defend his crown. We'll see if he can go for 5 in a row. Goldin's got a show on Netflix. We've got lots of stuff to talk about on today's show. Make sure you follow us at Mojobreak.com on Mojobreak_com on Twitter and Instagram, as well as join our Facebook discussion group. Contribute to the show, guys. You can also follow us on Facebook as well. We've got a huge break happening this Friday. 162 boxes baseball. It is the biggest pick your team baseball break of all time. It's got 1980 Topps. We've got 2022 definitive. We've got Joe Staley here from the 49ers, the all-decade pro, in here breaking with us, and he's going to pull some heat. He loves baseball cards, so bring that excitement level. Get your team, if you're listening to this before Friday, before it's too late. I think some teams just sold before we went live on the air. I mean, we're going to be giving away World Series tickets to one of the 30 spots in the break, so you could buy a cheaper team, get some awesome cards, also have a chance to go to the Fall Classic. So there's lots of fun stuff. You got to check it out at Mojobreak.com, and even if you want to just watch, it's going to be amazing. We're going to do recaps, and we're going to have Joe here. We're going to have a great time, so be sure to check that out. Guys, how excited are you for that event?
It's going to be a marathon. I'm excited. It's going to be all action, too. You're going to have 3 cameras set up, like breaking. I mean, we're going to get through it. For being 162 boxes, I think we're going to get through it. What do you say? 8 hours of ripping?
That's the goal.
8
that is the
10
goal.
hours. Conrad's going to be doing a 4-hour recap video.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Recap video, maybe longer than the actual break.
And if you guys remember the last time we did like a kind of a big-ish baseball break with Joe Staley, I got a cramp.
Yes.
And we pulled a 1-on-1 superfractor of Vladdy Jr. So
we got to live up to that.
Yeah. Get ready for some cramps.
We
and
also
some
pulled a
superfractors.
gold refractor auto of Wander Franco in that same break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Or that same day, at least. So, and that was at the old dig. So that was fun time. So we're going to replicate that. I also want to let you guys know that we're actually going to be out at the Mint Collective in Vegas, which is the end of March. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, March 30th, 31st, April 1st, and April 2nd. We will have a booth at the marketplace. We're going to be doing free shirts while supplies last. We're also going to be doing entries in to win a free spot in a Contenders football case break, the new stuff. So come by, sign up for that. And we're also going to have Wee Man and Preston from Jackass on Saturday from 3 to 5 doing photo ops, maybe opening some Jackass boxes. So we're going to have a good time at the Mint doing stuff, all kinds of stuff. We're also going to be doing eBay Live then as well. So if you're going to be going to the Mint in Vegas, make sure you stop by your booth. We're going to make it worth your while with the free shirt, with the chance at a free case break, and the chance to meet Preston and Wee Man from Jackass, which are some of the coolest dudes I know. So be sure to check that out. But I want to get right into talking about Shohei Ohtani. Man, Cody, does it get any bigger than what happened last night?
I mean, look, if you're not a believer in the World Baseball Classic yet, and you watched last night's game and you still went, I need to see a little bit more, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't think I can't help you. Maybe you don't have a pulse. I don't know, because that was incredibly exciting. The last few days have been incredibly exciting, and Shohei on top of it all. It felt very fitting that in this World Tournament, the game is becoming so much more of an international game than it ever has before, that it ended like that. And a moment that I know I saw the meme that's going around, the NFL scriptwriters got into Major League Baseball in the offseason because Trout versus Ohtani to end the game.
Yeah, it would have been a lot cooler if Mookie Betts didn't hit and do a double play.
Would have been way cooler. Look, as a Team USA fan, I would have liked to seen the USA win it, but
I hope so.
This is like Ohtani performing on the world's biggest stage, which frankly it is now. Like, if you see the reaction I was looking at some of the social media numbers. It got bigger social media numbers than the winner of the World Series, the winner of the Super Bowl, the winner of the NBA Finals. It was getting the huge numbers because obviously this is huge in Japan. It's a huge world event, and man, if baseball needs to capitalize on this momentum and this success.
I would
now.
say there is without, if you watch that last at bat, Mike Trout, not in the same league as Ohtani.
No. Well,
There is no doubt Ohtani is the best baseball player in the planet.
I mean, that kind of was in a weird way, symbolically, it kind of felt like that's what was happening
That torch was passed.
Yeah.
Last night.
Wasn't that Emily's face of baseball last year?
It was indeed. It was indeed.
Yeah, she apparently knows more about baseball than all of us combined.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, you were what? Fernando Tatis? Face of Balco?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, face of ringworm.
Face of the new steroid era?
Man, I mean, that it was funny because I was watching with my wife and I was like, oh yeah, Mookie Betts, he's a Dodger, and she's like, yeah, he's probably gonna hit a double play, and I'm like, oh, I hope not, and then of course
That's what he did.
That's what he did, and could have done anything else.
And I mean, I was when McNeil got that leadoff walk. It was Jeff McNeil.
Yeah.
Yeah, who walked twice in his two at bats.
I was like,
did his part.
this is setting up for a Trout walk-off homer in the WBC, and it is going to set. I mean, it is hard. Like I will agree with Cody. The games were so amazing. Like, it is going to be tough to get back into regular season mode.
It's watching to go from that to like having to watch Royals Tigers in mid-May. Woof. Look, that might be a little tough.
As not like a huge baseball guy, let me ask you guys. I mean, because the WBC happens every few years or so, right?
Every 3 or 4.
It's been.
What's the reason that this year has exploded the way it has? Because I've noticed, obviously, around the office, people been talking about a lot more this year, and just like friends of mine, like casual friends of mine, acquaintances, I've noticed they've been talking about it a lot more this year.
The overall talents that are on the roster, like on every roster.
So years before, like all the best players wouldn't necessarily play for their countries.
Right. Well, no, I think they loosened it up. I mean, you have obviously Lars Nootbaar, who's playing for Japan, who does not look like he fits in on the team, but had some Japan lineage.
His mom is Japanese. I mean, they've been doing that for a long time. His mom is Japanese, and there's, I think, one kind of like him. There's now a generation of players that were younger, that were like probably 5-6 years old when the first one happened, and they were like, well, I want to be part of that. That seems awesome. Especially guys like Nootbaar's. Like, imagine going to the Tokyo Dome and playing in that environment, playing for Japan. What an incredible time that would be. And yeah, you said it, like the moment Mike Trout threw his hat in the ring, it's like, well, the best of the best is in. And we all kind of knew Shohei was like, he wanted to be in as much as he could. So
I feel the only thing that I felt like we were missing, and this may be a thing that these pitchers, we didn't have the best of the best pitchers.
Even Rob Manfred came out and was like, we need better pitching for the U.S.
What I took out of it, and like, what's wrong with the Angels? Like,
yeah.
They had, I mean, literally like the two faces of the World Baseball Classic, two best baseball players in the world are both Angels players.
Which is
like why? And then they had another guy in the bullpen.
Yes.
They're filled with like massive talent, but they just suck.
The guy who started the semifinal for Team Mexico, Patrick Sandoval, is an Angel.
What is wrong with them?
Oh, the meme I love is have you guys seen like the 3-headed dragon meme? You know, it's like the two. Yeah. So you have it said like Ohtani Japan, Trout USA, and they're like the strong looking dragons, and then the one with the tongue all sideways is like the Angels.
And the Angels with both of them.
It's like literally kind of in a nutshell of what we have going on here. So, and that's why Shohei may not be an Angel in 2024 because of that. But his lore has grown. You know, as a collector, I wish I would have held on to some of his cards, but you dealt with the rise and then the injuries, and you're like, okay, and then he rose again, and it's like it's time to sell. But I think we can get right into some of these cards. What does this say? Is this a orange auto here?
Orange rookie refractor out of Topps Chrome, just sold yesterday. So right on the heels of this for $21,000 on March 15th.
There's the iconic card right there.
The Bowman Chrome Blue PSA 10 sold for $15,200.
And I wanted to stop you on that one because that is the color that there is one kanji out there.
Yes.
I don't know if it's surfaced. It was previewed for Bowman. But I could only imagine that would probably at least be triple the price.
Wait, hold on here. Okay, never mind. I get it because the Chrome was orange. I was like, why is the Topps Chrome selling for more than this Bowman?
You're right. It's the orange.
Yeah.
And it's also, what's interesting about Ohtani's cards, and you look at his early cards. Obviously, we showed you the Topps Chrome. There's also the Bowman Chrome of him hitting. Right. So you've got the first one that everybody kind of knows and loves is the 2018 Bowman. And it's him pitching. Has the rookie card logo on it. But then later in that same year, 2018 Bowman Chrome was him hitting. So always the pitching one seems to sell for the most because it is kind of the first. But like collectors might want to, he hit 40 home runs last year. So maybe some collectors like the hitting one better. So that's the interesting to the lore of him. And you've got is that a Sterling rookie?
Yeah, Bowman Sterling rookie that sold on March 20th. PSA 10 that sold for $13.1 thousand.
Well, we do have that autographed bat still.
That's true.
That might be
That's
something.
true. I was just thinking about that there might be a residual effect for these WBC sets coming up. Just as the tournament as a whole, its success, that Topps is going to have those WBC sets, which they have said. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that were said at the Topps Industry Conference that may or may not have happened exactly like we thought, but nonetheless, that those are going to be higher end with patches and autos and stuff. And I feel like the hype for that is now going to be way bigger than I think.
Yeah,
anyone had
they
expected.
could literally, and they probably are going to do this, they could literally make Topps Chrome WBC.
Sure.
You have all the guys you need in there pretty much. And then
Ohtani,
you've got a game-winning Ohtani photo with an auto on it.
I mean, imagine a dual auto of that picture of Trout and Ohtani facing off with the two of them on.
And I believe the only standalone product they had was Tribute WBC at one point.
Yes. And back in, when was the first? Was there one in 2009, 2008?
2006 was the very first one.
I believe in 07, maybe because they had to catch up, they had inserts because they had the very first Yu Darvish card.
That would have been 09, yeah.
Yeah, he had a card. I believe Tanaka might have had a card. And these were some of their first cards before they got into the, and Yu Darvish had a Bowman first in 2012, right? So it's actually funny that that's full circle. Yu Darvish is like 13, 14 years later, kind of the elder statesman of Japan, and a lot of these guys were looking up to him, right? So kind of a mentor role.
Their second WBC title, correct?
Their third, actually.
Their third.
They won the first two. And then, had been to I think all but one semifinal up to, or maybe every semifinal actually.
What,
so
you guys talking about Japan?
Yeah, they are.
Dude, where is that clip? Because my friends have been posting this clip too. The one where the only time Ichiro was ever pissed off ever in life was when they played Korea, and then Korea planted the flag in the mound.
Yes,
and then they go to Ichiro's face, and he's like,
"Dude, I was at that game. I was at that game, 2006." And he's just leering into the dugout.
Dude, the only time you ever see Ichiro pissed the off.
Yep.
I don't think I ever seen that. And they had Ichiro's jersey in the background.
They brought it out for the celebration.
Right now,
they did indeed.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you right now.
The man set the standard. I mean, he was the flag bearer for that first one.
Where is he?
I mean, I'm surprised.
Why wasn't he there?
I think he was part of at least. I think he was part of every Team Japan team up until now.
They're telling me there's not a coaching spot for Ichiro?
There definitely is if he wants it.
He can't be the bench coach or hitting coach?
There almost certainly is. If he wants it, there absolutely is.
Is this the one? I think we have it playing.
Oh, you found it. You found it. This is the full clip. But if you click the one I sent to your text,
so they won and then they plan it.
No, it was prior to the game.
It wasn't yeah.
Prior to the game, Korea planted the flag. It was in San Diego, and they planted the flag, and then you get that look of Ichiro just
right
daggers to the Korea dugout.
He was about to kill them, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. Actually, you don't see a lot of emotion from the guy, right? So it's that was where he really showed off his emotions.
And in general, too, I also think something that happened last time that why it picked up this time is one, Team USA won last time. It's been 6 years since the last one, so I think there's also that kind of momentum to build off of it. But for the first time, Team USA was showing the emotion that all the other teams, all the Latin American teams, all the Asian countries, they all were showing that emotion that made this so unique and fun. And USA finally picked up on that. And I just think like it just brought the energy up to another level.
It reminds me. I don't know if you guys have probably seen it. The Netflix documentary about the Redeem team for basketball, USA. How for a period of time they were like kind of like whatever about it, and that's why they even made the
Dream Team.
The Dream Team, yeah.
Well, I mean, here I don't think you've seen this one, C-Rad, but this is the Randy Arozarena, and this is kind of just the swag that they had in games, right? So watch, robs it, and watch him. Watch him after he robs it.
Yeah, Randy
Nice.
doing the
cold stare.
Yeah, the cold stare.
The cold stare, rapping just like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. So
I get it.
Incredible
I get it.
tournament. Like
It's also like for baseball fans, if you're not going to be into WBC, you're going to be watching just some standard spring training stuff.
Exactly.
Like
Which is not
way better.
not easy to watch if you're not there in person, right? I mean, you're not watching.
I mean, the quality of baseball that you're seeing in the WBC compared to, a Tuesday night Dodgers Cubs spring training game.
Yeah, you can't match I think the energy level in Mesa or Arizona is a little different than it was in Miami, Florida.
Bit. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're cruising around Gilbert and Chandler hitting up one of those games, it's probably not going to be like what it was in Miami.
Well, and before we move on past Ohtani, I did want to say and just ask you guys what you think. If you are a collector or let's put it better this way, if you're a flipper, is it time to sell? Because I know things have leveled out in the card industry. We're on another incline with Shohei's stuff. We know he's on the Angels. Do they have a chance this year? Is there going to be any more bigger moments that Shohei Ohtani is eclipsed than them? And I think you actually have a point to make, too, before we move on, too. Is there a bigger moment if you're looking to sell your Shohei Ohtani than what we had going on?
I'll go first with as the person with the least knowledge of baseball, but I obviously know a lot about sports cards. I feel like I'm buying into the fact that this guy is probably going to be one of the greatest baseball players of all time, right? Even in his so obviously now is probably an optimal time to, if you want, like, especially from the past couple years. But I feel like long term, the long term play on him is like why not? He could be in that GOAT conversation with the rest of the from the other sports where it's a long term investment.
But I just feel like you could make the argument that always the best time to sell is prior to the season because of what could be. You've never had a moment where somebody gets to do this going into the season.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
extra.
like there's so many more buyers right now than there is sellers.
That's
right?
extra, yeah.
But I think he is long term going to be a great player. So it's a tough situation. What do you think, Dan?
I think right now is a good time to sell. But there's the uncertainty of where he's going to play next year. And if he is a driving force on a year in and year out team that's contending for a championship and he wins a couple championships, then yeah, hold is also a good option.
I mean, but do we get we've never seen any, and this will go right into what Cody's going to say, a question he's going to pose is, we don't know the wear and tear on a guy that does what he does. We don't know if a guy like that can go into their 40s.
No data on that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know if you could be like Phil Niekro or, a guy that's playing into his late 30s, early 40s, because he is throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. He is running faster than most on the field, and he is slugging home runs.
He's better than everybody.
But he's human, though. At some point, you can only do what the limitations. It's a legit question.
I mean, the great ones do always feel like they are superhuman.
Right. I mean, the fact that there's still people out there being like, maybe Tom Brady will come back one more year. I mean, there are so few and far between. Ohtani, though,
I think Ohtani is probably the best option for the Buccaneers at quarterback.
Yeah, probably. I mean, could do that if you need him to, do some goaltending, get him between the pipes,
I think
on the
Warriors
ice.
should sign him.
Yeah, get him under the net. He's what? How tall is he? He is as tall as like half that roster. Legit.
He's a pretty tall guy.
He's very, very.
Put him on the
tall.
Warriors.
Yeah.
So your question.
Yeah. I got to throw it out there. It was something that like dawned on me as I see like the stats from the WBC, what he did obviously in this tournament, and what he's done the last 3 years. And I'm not ready to put him in Cooperstown yet. But if and maybe I don't know if I'm being too modest with this take or being crazy with this take, but I only need like 2 to 3 more productive years from Shohei Ohtani to say I think I would vote him into the Hall of Fame because of what it's so it's never happened. It's unprecedented what he's doing. He's doing it at such an incredible level. And what it means for the game of baseball, you look at the WBC thing with the ratings, and in a time where baseball has been so desperate to figure out, like, how do I reach these kids, literally? And he did it. Like, it's happening. Like, the social media following for baseball skyrocketed. Ohtani's follower count went through the roof. So, couple that with what he's doing on the field, that he is a literal unicorn. I think I only need like 3 more productive seasons to put Shohei Ohtani in the Hall of Fame.
But we're seeing this pathway that works, right? So you're going to have younger players coming up and being like, I'm going to pitch like Ohtani. I'm going to hit like Ohtani. I'm going to do all these things that Ohtani's doing.
He is very much the Steph Curry baseball
for it. Yeah. So if 3 years, 4 years, we have another player that's doing something similar to Ohtani, or you have 5 or 6 players that are doing the same pathway and similarities to Ohtani, does it diminish what Ohtani has accomplished? And does that make him a first ballot Hall of Famer or a Hall of Famer if he does it for 3 more years, if there's other players on the horizon that are going to be doing the same thing?
Well, and and it's funny, we were just talking about it this morning. Like, I never thought, as I played baseball for 11, 12 years.
Pro?
No. But we never thought to try to throw at, with the other, not that he does this, but like some of the things that he's doing, like traditional baseball 20 years ago was not like with that in mind. You were a first baseman or you were just a pitcher. It was like if you were just a pitcher, you're just working on pitching. You're not even working with the hitting. You know what I mean? So now it's like kids are going to try to emulate this. So in a sense, it's almost like Steph Curry with the 3-pointer, right? But then you also can say that this is a little bit like Kobe and Yao Ming, too, bringing the international market into the world, right? Because, I think Kobe was an ambassador for the NBA game, and then you had Yao Ming, of course, that was like the fan favorite. And Yao Ming's a Hall of Famer, right? Didn't do a whole lot of things.
He's a Hall of Famer, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a great career.
Yeah.
But I think you take into account what he did for the game, which is kind of paralleling what Ohtani's doing.
Yeah, also growing up in our era, in baseball, like watching baseball, it didn't work out very well when a position player, and I'm going to go Jose Canseco, tried pitching.
Yes.
And it just,
it's your Reds guy.
You can't really compare the two, right? Like, and that's why I think in our era of baseball, like you were a first baseman, you're an outfielder. That's like what you do. Because if you try to do something like this, a ball goes off your head, and you're the laughing stock of baseball.
And Dan, what you said about like, will this not seem as special? It totally crossed my mind because there's guys who are in the Hall of Fame who were the best players in 1910, 1920, who now we look at them and go, why are they there? But there always has to be the first guy, and that does mean something. Like a Babe Ruth, like the Steph Currys, these guys who did something fundamentally different to the game and completely changed the fabric of it to morph it into something that is almost unrecognizable from the previous version that was played. And so I think that in itself is enough to warrant even, I think there's people who, if he retired tomorrow, there's some people who go, I'm still putting him in the Hall.
I love Ohtani. Yeah. I'm voting him in. If I had a vote, he could never have another at bat. And I'm like, Ohtani's Hall of Famer.
And Ichiro kind of opened the door a little bit for the whole situation to happen, right?
Yeah, Ichiro unquestionably like the first Japanese hitting superstar to make it in Major League Baseball. He, to say that phrase, he walked so Shohei could run, but it's very true. He was the guy who. That's the reason that they had his jersey
Shinjo
out
crawled for Ichiro to walk.
My boy Shinjo, I love me some Tsuyoshi Shinjo. Shout out 0-2 Giants.
He was a couple years before Ichiro, right?
He was just around the same time. Right around the same time.
there was also players before those guys.
Yeah, there was.
There were.
I mean, I think we can go back to like the 60s. I think the Giants were the first ever to sign.
Is it Murakami? No,
Japanese.
There were
player.
definitely a few guys, but in terms of like that
Like a
crossover
superstar.
Ichiro number one. Yeah.
Well, Ichiro was a superstar in the Japan League.
Yes. Absolutely.
Ohtani was a superstar in the Japan League.
Yeah.
So,
And that's something you have to take into, and they're going to take it into account, I think, with Ichiro, with his Hall of Fame case. He's a Hall of Famer without the Japanese stats, but that's something they'll take into account. And if they're going to do that for him, you kind of have to do it for everybody.
anybody going to not vote for Ichiro to make the
Well,
Hall of Fame? Is it going to be that one guy? Wasn't there a guy who's like Ken Griffey Jr.? No.
It took
Not on my ballot.
different guys. It was
Oh,
what?
you
40,
talk about the clown show? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It was like 40 years ago, but I mean, Willie Mays didn't even make it the first time, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Yeah. Well, let's get into this week in the hobby. We got a few releases this week. We've got Obsidian Football, which all you need to know is Brock Purdy is in there. We confirmed via the checklist. He does have a base card with parallels and a auto with parallels. We also have Origins Basketball, which is one of the first patch auto full in NBA uniform cards that we're going to see. And, Paolo Banchero still remains hot. They have a few new designs this year. That is definitely a breaking product, so you can get that at Mojobreak.com. Get in your breaks by your team, whether it be random or PYT, Mojobreak.com, where everything is scheduled. We've got Gold Label Baseball as well, which this is the final year for Gold Label Baseball for
That's what
at
I was
least
just gonna ask.
the time being, because they are not making it in 2023. Now, it may come back at some point, but for the 2023 calendar year, it's not on there. Maybe they will take the gold frame cards and put them somewhere else. And it looks like we're going to get some Prizm EPL soccer as well. But I wanted to touch on a few things. I don't want to say we got duped, but we weren't given the entire information with the All-American. So Topps Chrome is releasing the McDonald's All-American Classic Chrome, which is kind of a throwback. I think some of the first Kevin Durant autos back when he was playing in the tournament out of college, out of Texas, or no, actually before Texas, before he went to Texas, before he was Longhorn, he had some cards. You had a good couple years. I think Chris Paul has some cards in there. We haven't had it for a long time, so Topps is back with it, and we were press releases, sports accounts that break news. Was Bronny James is going to be in the McDonald's All-American Classic with autos. Just not this year. But we didn't have that tidbit of information.
Oh, just not this year. So next year, possibly.
We're assuming it's next year. So, but it was the news broke with like 2 weeks to spare of the product coming out. So I think a lot of the hobby jumped to the conclusion that he was going to be in the set that's coming out. If you look at the report from Topps, they just said he was going to be in the set at some point. So you're looking at Amari Bailey. You're looking at
I want to Amari Bailey, this guy right here. We're saying that he's in high school. Dude looks like dude looks like he's like 32 years old.
He's he's in between high school and college.
I mean,
right?
look at that photo. You tell me that. Did you go to high school with anybody who?
Because I think the All-American is like...
I had a
it's
mustache
like,
in sixth
it's like
grade.
It's supposed to be like a basketball
got a
prospect
full
card, right?
goatee.
I had a friend with a full beard by
Full
like
beard?
sophomore. Yes,
My sophomore?
Yes, I swear. But he also was losing his hair a lot quicker. Oh, sorry, buddy, throwing it out there. He's losing his hair a lot quicker, so it all just went down. That's what happened.
And
there.
this could be a play without knowing the details of, like, you have to acquire the license. It looks like you're going to have to pay McDonald's, right? So maybe to set up, they had to guarantee a deal this year to make X amount of cards in order to have the license going forward. So that might be what you're seeing here. So these guys are actually before the NIL in a sense, and maybe that NIL is the reason it's possible here, is that you're able to sign guys. I think Lively is probably the number one guy in this set, prospect-wise. I think there's 15 subjects. There's also some female McDonald's pros as well.
It is all of the All-American men's and women's or boys and girls teams. There are guys here that are playing in the Sweet 16 right now in college, but Yeah.
So they're freshmen.
Yeah, some of them
Okay.
right now freshmen in college, some of them still playing Sweet 16 basketball, but yeah, this would have been a nice detail. I guess again, they're not technically wrong because this is the 2022 set and we were told this year the 2023 set. It's like, yeah, 2023 set. It's what we said. It's just that's not the one that's coming out in March.
And has and maybe this is me not knowing, has the one that Bronny James is in, have they played yet?
I don't know, but the rosters have been announced.
Okay.
The All-Americans have been announced, so they're out there and everyone went, it's happening. Bronny James.
But I mean, Topps might be like, you guys are idiots because the game hasn't happened yet, right?
Well,
so
I mean, it's also selective hearing, right? We hear Topps Chrome McDonald's, Bronny James, and then just assume. Everybody just assumed, oh, this product's coming out right now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in there.
That's the thing is
We gotta listen to the details. We gotta do better. We gotta do better, everybody.
all we have to work with is, and it wasn't like it was all reputable sources, people who I'm sure accurately reporting what was being told to them at the industry conference, but enough vagueness from Topps' part that they can get out of this and say, yeah, no, we didn't say.
hey, and I wouldn't be shocked if we have a Bronny James preview card based on collecting a bounty of certain type of players in here. Maybe there is. I don't know. We have some great marketing going on from the Fanatics team in regards to stuff like this. So maybe there is a chance to get him this year before next year's product comes out. Maybe a little teaser. So we will see. I mean, how young can you go, though? I mean, can we start getting like, are we going to have, T-ball autos? I mean, I feel like we're getting, these kids some of them are probably 17 here.
Not Amari Bailey.
I mean, you're looking at him. Yeah, not Amari Bailey. I mean, you're looking at a guy that if you're like super deep prospecting, because let's just say the guy goes to 4 years of college. This Amari Bailey, he may not be a rookie until like 2028, 2029.
Yeah, when you're starting this young for a product, you're super early prospecting.
But a lot of the main prospects are one and done.
Almost.
I mean, that is college basketball.
True.
I'd say a majority of them are all going to be one and done.
Yeah, that's the pathway now. Yeah. Well, let's move on to talking about Goldin. The Netflix show is set to premiere on April 28th, and I think it's obviously a good thing for this hobby. It is the king of collectibles. Appearances by Drake, appearances by Peyton Manning. I'm sure I'm leaving out a few names on the list that are set to appear for the show.
Appearance by my freaking backyard.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
No, they might be. They might be.
Never mind.
The acres.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you meant the breaks.
No, not that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at my freaking house.
Yeah.
Look at my house.
Yeah. 4.5 acres. But it looks like the image they show, are those some Beanie Babies?
Those are
on
Beanie
there?
Babies.
They
Those
said
are indeed
so.
Beanie
From what I
Babies.
understand, Ken Goldin, I saw him comment because the people were like, "Why did they sign the ball like that?" They were like, "That's all Netflix graphic department made that."
Oh, because whatever that ball is signed on, not the sweet spot, or backwards.
Oh, yeah, it totally isn't. You're right.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Whose signature is that?
Looks like KB, Chris Bryant's maybe.
Chris Bryant, all right.
Boof Bonzers.
and we know, and you guys listen to this podcast, that the hobby is still, it has grown, but I still feel like we're kind of niche where I don't know if this, as well as it's produced, because we've had shows over the years. I forget the one that was on ABC. It lasted 1 year. It was like the Ball Bros, or it was like in the earlier days of breaking. There was actual show of a card shop, but I think they did other collectibles. And it was either,
I don't think it was on ABC.
No, I think it was like a Saturday morning type thing,
Like syndicated,
yeah,
probably?
It was no, it was like, where you
I know
normally
what
have like the Wild World of Sports that no one watches on Saturday,
Right.
when there's no sports on. It was like kind of on that, and there was like some funny banter going back and forth, but like it never got renewed, right? So like, is there enough eyeballs for this thing to be like Pawn Stars where we get 10 years of it?
But this is Netflix, dude. You can put anything on Netflix and people watch it.
But if it doesn't get watched, it won't get picked up. That's what I'm
Well,
telling you.
if it's Netflix, even if it does get watched, it might not get picked up.
Yeah, they're very.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be like as big as the like some of the shows that they
Like
have.
Selling Sunset or something.
It's probably not going to be Selling Sunset, but it is. I think it's 100% a positive. I think it's going to get a lot of eyeballs. It could just transcend this industry because it doesn't take much to get into that pop culture.
We should do a watch party.
And you know what? I will say Netflix does a good job when they are introducing these like new niche markets. They do a good job with their documentaries. Like, they really get you engaged. So, whoever, if Netflix is really producing this thing, like it should be pretty good.
And how many people have become like F1 fans because of that one, or how many, that new PGA one that I've heard is great?
The golf one, like people talk about all the time. I haven't had a chance to.
We should do a watch party. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but doesn't it get released? Doesn't it get released at like midnight or something? So
yeah, or not even that, like 3 a.m. our time.
How many people are staying up till midnight to watch the
Right.
golden hour?
How about
or whatever?
this? How about we say we do and don't do it, and then why don't we just watch it on our own, and then we talk about it on the hype?
Because there was a show I can't.
Because the reaction part will be so much better.
Let's not commit too heavily on that.
Because the reaction part will be so much better.
I can't remember the name of the show, but there was a show I watched on the plane, and I thought it was done well. It was, man, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but it was like, I want to say it was in Tennessee, and they have a local radio show where people say, I have all this stuff that I'm selling, and then the people would flock to show up.
Yep. I know what show you're talking about. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
And they just had like, a shell of a VW from 1920 or something. And, and basically it's like, first to get out here and make a deal, I'm making a deal, right?
Yep.
So people would be like basically waiting by the radio, waiting for something that they're interested in. And so you had all these like kind of pawn shops or like collectible shops that were like waiting for the right thing to do.
The episode I saw was them buying a whole.
Wrong with that.
I saw some people buying the whole everything that's in the house, and then they resold it to everybody that came later.
And then there was people that were like on like the cryptic side where they were like buying like old like little coffins or like it was like weird stuff they were buying, right? Because their store was more of like a alt store. Yeah, it was crazy, but it was well done. So like if this could be well done and entertaining, I think having Peyton Manning, having some of these Logan Paul is going to be on there as well,
who is in a little bit of hot water today. I don't know if you guys saw that whole thing with some crypto fraud going on with him.
Oh, that's been going on.
Yeah, but it was like I think today like officially
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
We all got.
You want to talk about getting duped?
Well, and I gotta assume we all know what Drake's going to be involved in. It's going to be the Flawless. It's going to be the 86, right? I'm sure that was all filmed.
I feel like Drake's name will pull in people just like off a minor curiosity, like what the heck was he doing on the show?
Yeah. Drake searching for the triple logo man.
It's almost certainly was.
Did he hit it?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch to find out.
We're going to have to watch and find out.
Well, it'll be interesting because that probably was all filming around the same time, but it'd be interesting to see if they actually do show the triple logo man. Because it did go through Goldin, right?
It did.
Yeah.
So I bet that's a whole episode. I bet that chases a whole episode. By the way, I believe this is Omaha Productions. This is Peyton Manning's production company that is produced this thing.
I trust Peyton.
Peyton's good.
I trust Peyton.
Well, weigh in on this, guys, on this discussion at the, on our Facebook forum, or hit us up on Twitter or Instagram as well if you guys want to weigh in. And we have a couple more weeks, obviously, before this thing gets released. All right, guys, it is time for Guess That Price, the moment you've all been waiting for, specifically the moment that C-Rad's been waiting for, because he is, I think, 4-time champ or 3-time champ. I lost count. It doesn't matter. But, somehow he keeps winning. So we're going to try to take him down here. We're going to do Prizm Football edition of Guess That Price. Cody, kick it off.
Yeah, all right. Well, also, as the host here, I do have to throw in that that 4-game win streak. It is up for debate. There's an asterisk next to it because young Greg did beat you in this 4-game streak that we're talking about.
What? First of all, who is Greg?
Gary.
Second of all, I do not recall.
Well,
was it a mainline episode of Hype here?
That's on the main feed.
I wasn't here either, so I don't recall it.
Look, I know Doug and Dan weren't here, but it was on the main feed.
It must have been like one of those ridiculous lost episodes, like when me and Dan did that one episode that I hosted.
It's kind of like the Warriors going against the Santa Cruz Warriors.
Ooh, well, and in this case, if that's what we're saying, the Santa Cruz Warriors got a W in this case.
Pull one out. I mean, right now,
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
weren't the
fair
Warriors on a 13-game losing streak?
something like that
On the road, yeah.
We
On the road.
got to beat the Mavericks as we're recording this right now. But yes, it is Prizm Football edition of Guess That Price. We've had it here for a couple weeks, so I think it's time to look at the lay of the land and see what has sold. Starting with, let's start with a banger to start.
That is a
How about
beautiful
that?
card, man.
An absolute banger to start. That is a Color Blast Kenny Pickett rookie card.
And let me say that is a color blast, because sometimes with these color blasts, they'll like the background colors that they choose for players. Sometimes they'll be like 2 or 3 different colors. Like this one, they chose to use the entire can of paint. So I think those are the best looking color blasts when they use all the colors in the for the background.
This is maybe the rookie color. Well, yeah, it's the rookie color blast you want. It sold on March 18th. There were 50 bids.
Can I just say that I'm not a fan of Color Blast? I mean, I know we've talked about it before, and we're not really talking about it right now, but I feel like if I wouldn't be doing my due diligence by complaining about how this is like the most overrated subset in all of trading cards.
But it's not, because of how rare
though.
it is.
$1.
That's that final offer? Is that the final? I mean, it's growing on me. I'm kind of like leaning more towards Camp Dan on this one, but they are growing on me because they're rarity. But it's
a good place to be.
I think
when you think of inserts that you want, even from the 90s, let's talk about the 90s. The ones you want are the rare ones, right?
Sure.
Okay, but
what about the profiles? How rare is the profiles?
I think that's like one every. I've been pulling that one every 2 or 3 cases, so not that rare.
Quite as rare.
But rare doesn't mean I aesthetically like it. Like
Exactly.
I like the black color blast more than that one.
Bingo.
But I
Cody's
understand that the
fire
black
right now.
I understand that the black color blast is
One
less
per
rare
case.
than
It's
that
not
one.
rare. But my point is that you take a lot of those inserts from the 90s that are all sought after, right? All the stuff that we love, PMGs and all that stuff. Like, there's some people that like hate the way those look, right? But we understand the value of it because of how rare it is.
Yep.
So like in terms of modern sports cards, this is the rarest insert you can get.
But I don't have to like the way it looks.
No.
Like,
you don't have to like the way it looks, no.
But I feel that like people gravitate towards I love the way it looks because it's worth so much money.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to like a Lamborghini, but they're worth a lot.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start with the champ over here.
All right.
All right, I'm
C-Rad
going to
is
start off
first.
6K, John.
I let my feelings of the look of a color blast and the vibes of the color blast get in my way here. 3,200.
Oh, the disrespect.
7,500.
Okay, that's a little more reasonable here.
$750.
Actual price. Let's drink that haterade. Dan is the winner. $30,345.
And people have spoken. They
You
get
said
it.
you said 3,000, right?
$3,345.
Oh, he almost got exact.
I almost got it exact.
Yeah.
You know what jaded me on this one is that I seen the sale of the Kenny Pickett Gold for $10K.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, it kind of would go up there with that.
It's as rare as the gold.
Right.
People don't care.
I think it
They
They
says
don't care. They're. What did Doug say? Camp Dan.
If you're buying the gold for 10K, this color black, if you believe in them like that, if you're buying the gold for 10K, 3K is a no-brainer for this card.
Yeah, I think this
By the rarity.
might say a little more about how collectors feel about Kenny Pickett than it does about the color blast.
I think
Cody.
No, absolutely. But I'm saying, like, if you're paying 10K for
Kenny
the...
Cody. Cody
Kenny.
Pickett. Rodeo Cody.
All right, next card. Let's move on. This is the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson.
Word.
It's a camo rookie card, number to 15. It sold on March 18th.
Wilson.
It
Garrett Wilson.
It had 17 bids.
17 bids on this one?
17
Oh, you guys thinking about the
bids.
song. I get it.
Just like number 17,
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, 17 bids for 17.
A lot of hype, obviously, because
What's it, number two?
Aaron Rodgers is coming.
15.
Number
15.
15.
It sold on March
15.
18th, which, we knew that the Rodgers deal was probably going to happen by this point, right? I don't know if that affects it, but just to throw it out there.
All right, so Dan has to start it off.
I'm gonna get wacky on this one. 2150.
1,200,
Okay.
Cody.
$388. Come on, guys. Jesus. Come on.
Garrett Wilson.
1200.
Garrett Wilson.
Actual price, once again, we're drinking the Haterade, the lowest price one. Doug is our next winner.
Easy, guys. Come on. It's a receiver for the Jets.
$452 on this one.
15. How
It
much
doesn't
is
matter. There's
how
no
much
auto
is
on
a
it.
box again?
700.
$690
I
or
will
something like that.
say-
And you pull this. This is a lifetime pull. Once a lifetime pull here, number to 15. And you're getting how much?
This isn't your daddy's color.
I would way rather have this in the auto. I'll say that.
I'd rather have the gold. I know it's not. Actually, I'd rather have a blue to 150.
I know there's been a lot more love for rookie receivers the last few years, so it did surprise me that it didn't go for a little higher, but he's not Justin Jefferson. He's not
How
Jamar
much
Chase.
again?
$500.
$452.
450 is still a decent
It's
amount.
still solid,
I
yeah.
could buy like 5 of them.
Yeah.
I could have one third of the print run.
I mean, I do agree. You got Robert Saleh there. He's one of the greatest to do it. But like, it's a receiver. So
Now I'm gonna get people who have this card just sliding into my DMs, being like, I got a Garrett Wilson number to 15.
You want to give me 2K?
You buying?
Yeah.
You buying for 2150?
Ooh, I like this one.
All right, this is man. If we were to, this is a really nice one. Joe Burrow flashback. Love the flashback set this year. It looks awesome. The number to 10 flashbacks are hot commodities right now. This is of course the Joey B. Gold Prizm flashback number to 10. It's sold on March 19th. There were 41 bids for this card.
Nice card.
It's a very nice card.
Cody, I have no idea.
I
I have no idea
This is
because it is a throwback design, but
it's not a rookie.
it's not a rookie.
Nope.
And it's not card regular.
It is a guy the hobby loves, though.
Go ahead, Doug.
much as-
You won.
as much as Garrett Wilson.
Joe Burrow? Come on. Is that what we're talking about?
$8.99.
899 says Doug.
$607.
$1,175.
Sell it to Dan.
I know. I won again.
If you tried to sell it to Dan, you'd still be underselling it. Dan is the winner.
Oh my God.
Actual price.
I told you it was a difficult one.
$1,880.
Oh my God.
People like these.
Jeez.
It's the throwback design. It's
Can
the
you imagine how
2012.
much the Brady is worth then?
I know. Young Brady hit the Brady.
In fact, I think
At
I
least-
actually know what the
I would
Brady's
say
worth. I
it's
saw
at
it.
least- I would say it's at least 4 times a better investment.
I think I saw it was about, well, yeah, I think I saw it was like about 2,500 is what it
That's
sold
low.
for. It seemed low compared to this. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
He's only $700 more than Brady.
I don't
Yeah, it
think there's a
seems
lot of golds in the original set that would sell for that much. That's the funny thing is you go back to
But
2012.
this is 2012 though.
Yeah, but it's not. It's 2022.
I
in
know. No,
2012.
I know, but it's a 2012 design. We love it. You love it.
We all
Everybody
love
loves
it.
it.
I do want to mention too, you guys listening on the audio version of this podcast, there is a video component. So if you're like, what do these guys even talk about? If you go on the video version of the podcast, you can actually see the cards. But
Just use your imagination.
You
It's
can
a
use
great
your
looking
imagination.
You
card.
could also use your imagination. If you
So
open
Dan,
a lot of Prizm,
it's 2-1.
So I got to win
I'm
2 to
wrapping
just
it
tie
up.
it up.
Wrapping it up right here.
C-Rat needs to win, just needs to get 2, and then we got a tie, and then I'll figure out some sort of tiebreaker here. But Dan is 1 away from winning it, and we go with another
I got
short print.
this one. This is my boy.
We go with another short print. It's Josh Allen. It's the manga.
Manga.
Josh Allen. March 20th, this one sold. It had 21 bids on it. Do we
Nice.
know how often we're pulling mangas out of here?
Mangas feel like they're about 1 in every 34 cases.
Okay.
I'm gonna be that guy on this one. I feel like the art on the manga this year, they took a step back. I don't know if
I
the
like that
designer that was before was asking too much money.
Well-
and, you know,
well-
they brought somebody else in.
You're talking about the actual drawing because the
Yes.
last year it was like the artwork was encompassed the whole card, but this year there's borders.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that might
So
be
that's
it.
part of it.
I'm
I
still a fan.
do like cards with borders.
How many bids were on it?
There were, how many bids were on this thing? 21.
I got this.
21 bids. Dan needs 1 to win.
Go ahead, Dan.
And I just won it.
Hold on.
Okay,
Yep.
go ahead, Dan.
Doug needs
guys.
1 to tie. C-Red needs 1. Period.
This one had nothing on it. Did I not write it down? 1655.
Wow.
5-5.
Okay. 950.
I had to change my last number to a 7, but it was all 6s, so $667.
Oh, you're on that cackle wow.
7. Actual price. We have a new champion. Dan is the winner.
I just came in just throwing elbows. You guys had no chance.
Man, Dan.
I mean, wow, was that a no-hitter?
It's close. Well,
I mean,
I got one in there.
Other than Garrett Wilson.
Was that a perfect game?
Other than that Garrett Wilson, it was a pretty spotless
27
performance.
up, 27
What was the
down?
price?
The actual price on that was $1,525.
And not only did I was so close every time.
Congrats, you got an ugly card. I mean, for way too much.
Right,
way
you guys probably don't want to
too
see
much.
the last card, right?
Well, do we want to do the last
Yes,
card?
yes,
I saved
yes.
it. I saved
Oh, the best for last.
Well, yeah, you could say that. Here we go. It is, if you want to call it the best for
Yeah, I want
last.
to see what Dan's price on this one is.
It was Mr. Purdy was the best for last in this case.
Mr. Irrelevant Shimmy.
Mr. Irrelevant Shimmy. There he is. Gold
off the
Shimmer,
line.
numbered to 10. This sold on March 21st. There were 32 bids on this card. Just sold.
I cannot imagine what this one is going for here.
Just sold.
I'm going through my older answers.
Just sold, which means the surgery news was within this. How long ago was it now?
I
It was post Prizm, right?
I think he got the surgery on Prizm Day.
on
maybe.
Prizm Day. Wow, jeez.
All right, Dan.
The man knew. He's like, I gotta.
$12.77.
It doesn't matter for
It is a
him.
backup quarterback.
It does not matter for Dan.
$4,900.
$4,900 for C-Rad.
$95,000.
I was thinking the same thing.
Actual price. Well, C-Rad wins it. C-Rad gets on the board. $3,050
Close.
for that card.
I mean,
It's
the
you're
quality
technically
of
right.
the investment here, $95,000 someday.
Backup QB. I almost put $0.
We knew that one had
Well,
nothing on the line, of course.
You know what this segment proves? This draft class is underwhelming. That's all I got from this segment.
Yeah, and the box prices are still a little bit above the singles. They have not caught up. I mean, now granted, we are coming from Prizm that have gone up to $1,500 to $2,000
Yep.
a box. Now
Yep.
we're at $600-700 retail.
Yep.
We're kind of going back to normal, but
Yeah.
we're not quite there yet. But the black 1 of 1 has not been hit. The Prizm black, the shimmer's been hit.
Shimmer's been hit,
but
yeah.
the true black 1 of 1 has not been hit, and I don't believe the auto has been hit yet.
But
either.
I also feel like and getting back to the color blast
Yes.
real quick, we're getting more super short prints. We have like the manga, we have the portrait now,
Profiles.
we have the profile, we have the color blast. Like, doesn't that take away from the color blast? Because now there's other super short prints.
or it makes it harder to hit.
It might be. Well, I can tell you.
Like, now you're like,
Yeah.
well, I wanted the color blast, but I hit the manga instead.
Now, looking up prices, I didn't see many of those. The profiles, right? I didn't
Profile,
see very many of
portrait,
that.
whatever you had.
I don't know if it means that they're less in demand or
From my
that they're harder to
experience,
pull.
like,
But
those are the easier ones to hit. I hit
Okay.
there was like 3 breaks in a row. I feel like I hit
so
one.
probably just not going for
Yeah.
nearly as much as these ones were.
All right, guys. Well, that is the episode, guys. Make sure you check out our break, the 162 box break. If you're listening to this later, it will be archived. We're going to be breaking with the great Joe Staley. 162 boxes of baseball spanning over 20 years. We're giving out World Series tickets. So check that out on YouTube, guys. It's going to be live Friday, starting at 2 p.m. all the way into the night. 162 boxes, and it is going to be insane. So we'll report back on what we pulled next week. So make sure you guys follow us here on either if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify. Also check out Mojobreak.com for your upcoming breaks. We've got new Obsidian football coming out. We're doing Origins. We've also got Gold Label and more stuff coming up. Flawless is up for pre-sale on the website. Contenders, FOTL for football is up for pre-sale on the website. And if you want a box, MojobreakShop.com is your site for boxes. And we'll see you guys next week.